All right, so I'm just going to show you some of the basic tools and setup of Illustrator. For some of you, I know it's taken a while to get connected. Hopefully you all are now, and we'll take a look. So if you're starting something new, you'll do the Create New. If you're opening an old one and just kind of re-editing on it, you'll just do that right there. So I'm going to go Create New. Okay, and I know at the first couple assignments, we had talked about, I'm going to try to drag that up a little bit, letter size will work good. So once I kind of click the letter size, if we go over here to the right, you can see I can choose portrait mode or landscape mode. If you prefer, you can go over here and switch that to inches so you're more familiar with that, and whichever way you want it to be. The first one, I think it doesn't matter. Your second assignment, you might be better off with the landscape format, okay? So we're just gonna open this up. Give it a second. All right, so since this is blue and showing up, I'll explain this one. The little light bulb up there basically has some tutorials in there for you. So you can always go in there and check out some things and try some stuff out as well. Okay, I'm gonna try to get out of that. Or, well, let's get, so it goes away. All right. So take a look at that. So in Illustrator, you're going to see this white sheet of paper, and basically that is your workspace. The gray stuff is kind of more like Sketchpad. You can bring photos off to the side, and then they won't show up when you turn it in. Only what's on that white piece of paper, so to speak, that's in there, okay? We're going to start with some of the tools on the left and kind of work our way around a little bit. We'll bounce over to this left side as we work with some of the tools. All right, so first let's kind of, just so you take a look at this white one, with this new version, it always includes this up there. The far left, this is where you can find Illustrator and Photoshop if we ever lose it or it closes for some weird reason. Here is that file folder that you should have found to be able to add Google Drive into Illustrator to make another drive, make it easier then for you to turn in your projects. We have the black arrow, if you hover over it, is the selection tool. This is where you'll always click on something to make it active, to make it work, okay? The white is a direct selection tool, and that one you use when you need to kind of maybe reshape something or do something very specific with it, okay? The pen tool is a great tool for drawing. You don't kind of do it as a smooth motion. You click on points and let it fill it in for you. You can go into selections afterwards and round things up a little more and make some edits. We won't use this one too much, but you can certainly play around with it. Notice that any of these tools that have the little triangles in the corner, if you click and hold on them, you are going to see other options for you to choose. So right now we have rectangle, but you can see there's the ellipse, which also makes the circle, polygon, star, and line tool. So if I click on the rectangle, right now, these are my color selectors, and I will have a white square, okay, with a black outline. All right. So you can see that that's how that's going to look like. Now, a lot of times in order to unselect something, you have to go to the black arrow, click out on your kind of gray area. I haven't found an easier way, so maybe with the new version you'll find it. Let me know. All right, now I could also change these colors. Okay, if I want to change my fill, I don't know why it's not letting me switch over here. I'm going to go over to my properties here, and you can see that if I click on the fill over here, I can choose whatever color I want. If I click on, I don't know why my red circle's here, and close for me. On the stroke, all right, I can even choose a different color for my stroke to be as well. So let's say if I went yellow, all right. Now I could also make my stroke a thicker outline, and I'll show you what that means in a second. So I'm going to go back to my rectangle. Now you can see with this, I can go all sorts of different shapes with it, but if I hold the shift key down, I will only get perfect squares, all right? So let's say on this one though, I want my yellow border to be thicker. So I'm going to go over here next to the stroke where it says 1 point, and I'm going to up that number. And you can see over to the left that it made a thicker stroked square with the border. Okay, so that's how you can change things like that. Maybe you want to reverse the color and go yellow square with the red. You just click that curvy little arrow, and so then now when I make a shape, it's going to reverse it for me. All right, so pretty simple with that of tools to work with to get those to move and change. Now, if I go with the black arrow, you're going to see that I could pull it out more if I wanted to and reshape it, okay, by just kind of pulling on those spaces. Now, I can also change how I want my shapes to be overlapped. So right now you can see that it tucked it underneath. But if I click with the black selection tool on that one, I'm going to go up under Object, Arrange, and I'm going to go Bring to the Front. Notice that now it brought that square to the front of it. So you can rearrange objects that way as well. Now with the ellipse tool, same kind of thing happening. We're going to get some different colors though because those are a little obnoxious. Okay, and same thing. So if I go with my circle tool, I can do ovals, whichever direction for it. Okay, or again, if I hit the Shift key, I will only get perfect circles. Okay, now that one you can see I'm off the page. So if I want it all to be on the page, you are going to have to go in, and scooch that one over. All right, so if you ever want to get rid of anything, same thing, I can go with that black kind of arrow, the selection tool, select it all, and you can go and turn on your keyboard, hit delete, you're going to see it's going to get rid of it. All right, so that's kind of a quick way of getting rid of things. To back up a step, you can go Edit, Undo. Okay, and that will always do the last step, or if you have the keyboard on, you can do Control Z. So that will back up any steps as well. All right. I'm going to make one more little shape here just so I have something to work on here in a minute. So I'm going to hold the Shift key and I'm going to get, oh, I'm not on the right tool. On my, and we have something like that to work with. Okay, so now in similar ways, if I do the paintbrush, it's going to choose that stroke color. So you're going to see it's going to be yellow. Again, if you want to flip-flop it or change it, I click on that one, and now I could choose maybe whatever color you want it to be. All right, so you see that the line tools that it works with is going to go with the stroke. And that is the same kind of with, the pencil tool. Okay, so similar. You can see that that's much thinner. And that one too, I can come in though with that white, and you can see I can change and reposition and move that around. Where the paintbrush, you don't do that as much, okay? So some changes and options there. So great drawing. So we have the type tool. And with the type tool, where I click, you can see it's small right there. It always gives you kind of these Greek lettering or Latin, and that will change once you start typing. To change your font, and mine is really tucked down here to see, but that's where you can go to change your font, okay? Change your sizes and everything like that, okay? So I'm gonna for sure up my size, so you can see that there. And you see I can type below, and it's gonna show up like that. So you can choose your fonts, your colors, okay? Now another thing we can do is in that same tool, you have a vertical type. So if I choose that, you can see it's going to go in the down motion of it. All right, so we hit, I'm going to go off the page, so I'll just stop at that. So you can see then it brings it down that way. Now another cool tool in there is called Type on a Path. You could do that on your pen drawings, your pencil drawings, even on shapes. But it will get rid of the shape that you are going to click. So that path that you're going to type on, it will get rid of it once you're typing on it. All right, but it's kind of a cool tool. I can come, here later if I want to edit, you can come back in, select it, if I click the black arrow, notice it gave me this tool. And I can, oops, get back to it, grab the bar here, and I can rearrange it and position it. If I keep kind of spinning it, oh, I missed it again. It's tough clicking on the exact thing. All right. You can see that it'll flip and it'll even go to the inside. So those are things you can play with when we're working with it. All right. And so if I click out, again, it got rid of the shape. If you wanted to keep the shape you were working on, for instance, if I created a circle here and I wanted to make sure, I'm going to flip flop those, and I wanted to draw on that, I'm going to up that thick line though a little bit just to see it better, just so you can see I have that. All right. So what I can do is select that with the black, maybe being a little, there we go. And I'm going to go Control C to copy it, Control V, and I have one copied now. I'm going to click that one and try to drag that right on top of each other. Okay, there's too many things right next to each other here and it's not. Okay, so now if I stack them exactly, okay, and I did my type on a path, okay, you're going to see that it kept it this time because I stacked two on top of each other. So one went away, but the other one stayed. So those are some other cool things you can do with the font. All right, so the rotate tool, you can try, won't use it too much, but with text, I will tell you, you can click on the black arrow, click on it, notice the little squares that came around. If I go to the corner, I get the curvy double arrow. I can angle that differently. If you decide you want it bigger, I can stretch it. I could stretch the letters taller. So you can still edit and kind of play around with those afterwards. All right. The eraser, we're not going to go with right now. That kind of does little line segments in the new version. I haven't played with it enough yet to know. The eyedropper is cool, is that if you ever have images up and you can't remember what color you used, you grab the eyedropper, click on it, okay, and see it automatically chose that yellow for me again. So that's how you can kind of pick and select and choose something again. All right. Blend tool will blend some colors together. Artboard tool, that's a new one. I'm not sure of it yet. Zoom in. That you can either do Control plus, which will zoom in, Control minus will zoom out. Okay, you can see that's Control plus, Control minus, zooms out. If I click on the eyedropper and get the hand tool, that will allow me to kind of grab it and reposition it on my page. So again, you've got your fill color, your stroke color. I can switch them up, and these are ones you just recently have used, okay? So that's kind of that sidebar and how it plays along with the bar over here, okay? So you can see my colors are still there in different things, and your fonts and everything, okay? Over there, oops. It is moving crazy on me. All right, so you can see then, again, I could choose the different fonts from over there. All right, so a couple other things. Illustrator and Photoshop works in layers. So if you want to make sure layers are going to be preserved and you don't mess with them, you can add layers. I can click and drag and reposition my layers. I can turn layers off so they're not visible right now. Okay, it does. Oh, yeah, it's switched them up. So you can see you can change them up. Okay, again, I can turn off a layer and simply go back in and turn it on. Okay, we can lock and unlock layers too to make that work. So it'd be cool there, as you can see, if I'm on this, I can go in and I can change the opacity. Now look, when I slide to the left, it makes it more transparent. Oh, am I on the right layer? It's not doing it. Thought I was on the right layer. Nope. So click on layer 1, back to it, try again. Okay, it's jumping layers on me. But you can change the opacity of layers. I'm not sure why it doesn't want to stay to that layer. But so it'll make it lighter in color. Now up here under File, this is where you will always do your save as, save, okay? So that's what's important under there. Edit is where you can cut, copy, paste. Notice there's always the shortcut tools to the right. Object, I already showed you the arrange. You could transform something. We can flip them, rotate them, okay? And that's where you would do that. Group your items. So if you wanted all of your stuff to stay as one group, doing like a logo or a character, you would group them. Okay, here's the type. So another place where you can find your fonts, your sizes, and play around with that. Your select, deselect. So other than your black arrow, you can use that. Effects, there's really cool things. You can make your letters three-dimensional, okay? And warp in different ways, different artistic textures. So that's all under effect. View, if you want, you can go in, and that's where else you can zoom in, zoom out. I believe you can turn the rulers on in here. You used to be able in the old, not quite seeing it yet, so I would have to look at a few more things. But that's kind of that. Window is where you can go if you've lost your workspace, go workspace. You can see essentials. But if just like color got lost and you don't know where it went, just go under Windows and find it. Help, you can type in certain areas. It'll help you out. And again, you have the tutorials over here with the light bulb. So those are kind of the basic setup of Illustrator.